Hi, my name is Isabel Caña, and I'm a student at UNAD University in the program of Bachelor Degree in English as a Foreign Language. For the subject of Material Design for Face-to-Face Environment, Activity 1, we will see to look into for designing teaching material. Talking about English language learning, material should have. The first thing is impact, because if we don't have enough impact when we're teaching something, the learners they will not cooperate with the process of learning. Also, help up easy. We need to present something that is not impossible for them. Also, we should be helpful to develop confidence. So the materials that we present to them, they will stimulate the confidence that they have and stimulate the self-investment and self-discovery. So we're going to give to them materials to develop their own skills. Authenticity is very important because they need something that is authentic to call their attention. Also have the goal to achieve communicative purposes. They need to be able to communicate with the materials we are giving to them. Also, we need to consider that each learner is different, so we need to use different styles according to the learning. Another consideration is that material should permit a sitting period at the beginning of instruction. Also, materials should be encouraging in the intellectual part, artistic, and an emotional part, and provide opportunities for outcome feedback. We need to prove through feedback if the learners are getting the knowledge that we need to transmit to them. Principles of second language acquisition relevant to the development of materials for the teaching of languages. I will mention many of them, but I will focus on just 5 that I consider are very important. So the first one is materials should achieve impact. Materials should help learners to feel at ease. Materials should help learners to develop confidence. Materials should require and facilitate learners' self-investment. Materials should expose the learners to language in authentic use and should provide the learners with opportunities to use the target language to achieve communicative purpose. Materials should take into account that the positive effects of instruction are usually delayed. Also should take into account that learners differ in learning styles. Materials should take into account that learners differ in affective attitudes. Materials should permit a silent period at the beginning of instruction. Materials should maximize learning potential by encouraging intellectual, aesthetic, and emotional involvement, which stimulates both right and left brain activities. And materials should not rely too much on controlled practice. Materials should provide opportunities for all. So the first one is impact. So to have impact to our students or our learners, the first thing that we need is novelty. So for example, we need to use unusual topics, nothing of repetition or tradition. We need to have good illustration and activities. Variety. For example, breaking up the monotony of a unit routine with an unexpected activity, like to give surprises to them. C. Attractive presentation. We need to be very creative with attractive colors, photographs, and all the things that we can imagine and we can offer to them. Also, appealing content. We need topics of interest to the target learners, topics which offer the possibility of learning something new. So in this case, we need 2. Require and facilitate learning self-investment. So Rutherford and Sherwood Smith, 1988, asserted that the role of the classroom and of teaching materials is to aid the learner to make efficient use of the resources in order to facilitate self-discovery. I would think that learners profit most if they invest interest, effort, and attention in the learning activity. Materials can help them to achieve this by providing them with choices of focus and activity, by giving them topic control, and by engaging them in the learning-centered discovery activities. So we can drag their attention so they will learn. 3. Expose the learners to language in authentic use. The input should vary in style, mode, medium, and purpose, and should be rich in features which are characteristics of authentic discourse in the target language. And if the learners want to be able to use the language for general communication, it is important that they are exposed to planned, semi-planned, and unplanned discourse. Example: a formal lecture, an informal reading interview, and a spontaneous conversation. The materials should also stimulate learning interaction with the input, rather than just passive reception of it. This does not necessarily mean that the learner should always produce language in response to the input, but it does mean that they should at least always do something, mentally or psychically, in response to it. 4. Materials should maximize learning potential by encouraging intellectual, aesthetic, and emotional involvement, which stimulates both right and left brain activities. The maximization of the brain's learning potential is a fundamental principle of the son of Suggestopedia, in which he enables the learner to receive information through different cerebral processes and in different states of consciousness, so that it is stored in many different parts of the brain. Maximizing Recall, Herbert Hansen, 1992. Suggestopedia does this through engaging the learners in a variety of left and right brain activities in the same lesson. Example: reciting a dialogue, dancing to instructions, singing a song, doing a substitution drill, reading a story. Whilst not everybody will be accept the procedure Suggestopedia, most researchers seem to agree on the value of maximizing the brain's capacity during language learning, and the best textbooks already do contain within each unit a variety of different left and right brain activities. This one I consider is very important. That is, materials should provide opportunities for outcome feedback. Feedback which is focused first on the effectiveness of the outcome rather than just on the accuracy of the input can lead to output becoming a profitable source of input. Or in other words, if the language that the learner produces is evaluated in relation to the purpose for which it is used, that language can become a powerful and informative source of information about language use. Thus, a learner who fails to achieve a particular communicative purpose, example, borrowing something, instructing something how to play a game, persuading someone to do something, is more likely to gain from feedback on effectiveness of their use of language than a learner whose language is corrected without reference. It is very important, therefore, for materials developers to make sure that language production activities have intended outcomes other than just practicing languages. The value of outcome feedback is focused on bias raters on task-based approaches.